I'm going through several reflections tonight, and now I think maybe a few words about my attitude to information. This has been something which has concerned me for a long time. The words I'm currently speaking is also what you can call information. It is an information transition, and it becomes relevant in the situation where the transition takes place and by the ears of the person who is hearing these words. Information relates to visions and visualized scenarios which words can evoke through associations to experiences with sense impressions. Through our experiences of sense impressions, we have gathered a large collection of knowledge about various interesting forms. In our normal existence, we have seen a great number of such spectacularly interesting forms of life. This includes simply ourselves and the forms of all our subjective experiences, and it also includes the forms of all the living beings we have seen around us, and we have generally seen quite a few. It also involves the forms of all kinds of living plants and trees and ground areas and small creatures in various shapes and colors and patterns of being. And it involves our experience of seeing the sunlight and the way it plays with the waves which are moving on oceans, having a great deal of water with more life down in the water, most of which we cannot see, and the forms of clouds which are shifting in the winds, and as sunlight meets the particles of liquid up floating in the air, it creates a visual spectacle of colors which can also be seen by the human eye being on the ground and even photographed with the human machines. And these kinds of forms can also be experienced. And as I am speaking these words evoke memories of certain experiences of certain forms which we have all experienced. And there is a commonality to all our experience which makes you understand these words to some extent. It gives a resonance. And also, you have your own unique personal experiences that you relate with these words. So that means that as you hear these words, you also have a unique perspective and experience of them, which is unlike that of anyone else. So the meaning of the words seems to be something which dynamically arises at the moment when you are now hearing these words and experiencing us in the way you are experiencing us. This will depend on your physical state and the room you are in and the period in your life where you hear this and what kind of person you are and what you are generally interested in at the moment. So the meaning of the words arises within this great meeting point of events, in the meeting point where everything meets and where reality happens now, depending on the unique kind of meaning of all of these factors, including what you creatively imagine from hearing these words and how you are now maneuvering yourself in relation to this information, and maybe wondering how you can find something really interesting in this information. All of these things influence the meaning of the words. So the meaning of the words always seems to be situational. It always is a process, and it is always personal. It is your personal experience, it is your personal meaning, and you will personally find your own unique meaning in the words, which no other being has seen or known. And this unique meaning that you put into the words you hear, this is relevant because this is the meaning you are operating from. And this is the point from which you are speaking. This is the point from which you say what you are saying. And if there was someone there to really hear you and hear all of what you say and hear it in relation to each other and hear it with clarity and interest and consideration, then maybe they would understand something from your life. And maybe they would understand something very interesting, which would make their life richer also. And all of this is part of the potential of the communication.